The final mission starts now. Testing, testing. Awesome. All right. So, when we last left off, we had finally found the location of the Outsider and the cult that worships him from the conservatory from the first game, or from the second game, I should say. And now we are using that location, traveling that location, I should say, to finally do the deed. This is also our previous mission. And let us begin. The Outsider will end tonight. No matter how long it takes. Although, honestly, we should probably end up finishing the stream early.
There's a darkness at the center of all things. It'll change you if you think about it too much, but it's always there. It waits for you. When I was in hiding, I tried to forget everything that I was. Now I aim to keep my promise to a dead man, someone who meant the world to me. Sometimes I still hear Dowd's voice echoing through the metal of this miserable knife. This is the strangest, most important thing I've been through, and that's saying a lot. There's a mining complex on Shindeire Peak, somehow so obscure that most people don't believe it exists. That mad cult lives there, protecting the one place that can bring me face to face with the Outsider himself. Years ago, I heard Dowd talking about the Void, a fear that grips your throat, bends your spine, but I can't turn away now. What will we have left if the Outsider's gone? His name might be lost to the Void, but tonight, I'll find out if he can still bleed.
It's always at night for some reason. And here we are.
This is the place, Shindeire North Quarry. It shouldn't exist, but from what I can see, this place is real. At least for now.
Here, the Void is closest to the surface of reality, breaking through and spilling out all the fear and power the Abbey of the Everyman tries to hide. You have uncovered more than most. What you do now will change the world.
You again. You know I used to wonder if you'd speak to me. I almost wanted it. Every street kid, every desperate wretch pushed to the edge. They all wanted you to speak to them. Why didn't you? Why me, now? You know I'm here to end this. You and this disgusting cult.
People have come to this place for centuries wanting many things. To elude death, to seek forbidden knowledge. They are never satisfied no matter how much they take. Not even the dead find peace here. You will find another relic of the cult's heart. A piece of whatever God came before my time. You will find the people who murdered me. When I knew them, they had names and ambitions. Now, they wander this place, their minds snared up with terrible secrets, keeping hidden the unspeakable ritual that made me what I am. Deep in the Void, they put a knife to my throat and tore my name away. You have found the knife. Maybe you can find my name in the black viscera of this place. If you care to look.
Why are you telling me this? What do you want?
We both know how a mob can justify a murder to themselves. Who I was or what I wanted never mattered to the cultists here. I will not speak to you again. The next time we meet, you will be face to face with what was done to me all those years ago. Your mind echoes with everything that Dowd wants you to do. But I am here to say that you have a choice, Billy Lurk.
And he is correct. At the end of this, you will have one final choice to make. And so our series will come to an end. This improvisation run will come to an end.
I hate this place already.
Alright, let's begin. Let's begin. Hi, friend. Die. You're no match for me. Ooh. I wonder if I have the room. Healthy appetite. Probably not going to be too helpful for me right now. There's anything over here, but can't help but check. Interesting. So, the fun thing about this place is that, like the area in the crack in the slabs, the void is seeping out. So you see these kinds of time distortions all throughout the region.
Calm yourself, Antero. You had that coming and you know it. How will you find wisdom when you ignore the simplest tenets? Seek no solace in mundane things, cast aside distractions. Your little pets were distracting your gaze from the void.
Where's the heart? I was just feeding the rats and talking to them. Like the lonely rat boy from the stories.
You're not in a story. The void needs you.
I don't want to go to the void anymore. I've seen what happens. The stone grips more than your body. It takes over your mind and heart.
This is our purpose, Antero. This is why we're here. Don't fight the influence of the endless and empty.
I don't want to. I'm scared. I don't want to become like them.
Don't worry, you won't. Someone's shooting at us!
All right. Now, if you'll notice, see if I can put her face up. She is not entirely human. None of these guys are. And you'll see why in a moment, because these guys are really messed up in a pretty big way.
Why do they look like that? What goes on here?
Good question, Billy Lurk. Good question. So let's travel around. Because now we need the code for that gate. As you can see here, there is a gate here. And the code is randomized for every run. So I cannot proceed, at least through this way. I don't know if there's an alternate way. If we'll look for it. But I can't proceed until I find the code that unlocks the gate. And I couldn't buy anything because there is no vendors, which means it must be here in the level somewhere. We are so far out of the way of the rest of society that there are no vendors, there are no commoners. It is just the cult and anything that they have made. Nothing of value here. that shot. Could always use more rounds. Okay. So where do we go from here? Alright. Let's keep looking. I'll take those. Yeah, we'll take some of those hyperbaric grenades. It's always weird that the contract killers have the most non-lethal implements in Dishonored. Like, if these hyperbaric grenades, yeah, they're non-lethal grenades. It's always weird that it's when the assassin characters like Dowd or Billy takes the stage that you get non-lethal implementation. The front gate code is 400. Good to know. Thank you, guy talking to Connor. The android sent by Cyberlife. And with that code, we may proceed. So the code is 4 0 0. And again, that's randomized per run, so you do have to find the code every time.
I saw you hasten from the library yesterday to commune with the eye. Tell me how you feel for my studies.
Yes. I stared into its core and recognized myself. It yearns as I yearn. Under its gaze, I sank beneath the surface of these waters. I walked the path of the envisioned and witnessed. Void in the flesh. Oh. I still feel the eye's presence in my mind.
Yes, yes. The dead see with such depth. The eye of a dead god sees all our desires.
The eye of a dead god.
See the truth. I know it.
Bye, losers. You commune with the eye, you finish studies, leave the library, the rest of the chamber, bring 3 sharp knives. Okay. See what's up here. Oh, there was a guard. I thought there were 5 people in this area. Huh. Okay. Okay. Nice little trick. And now we're in. Let's see what's in here. Progress is in here. I could take this way, probably. We'd probably do fine. But if memory serves, there is an alternate route. Over yonder. Just need lever is locked. Okay, I need the weight of 3 people and a giant weight. And these guys all drop bone charms because they are evil cultists. What's happening is that I'm not light enough to use this, or I'm too light to use the elevator. So I actually need to put some weight on it. Once that weight gets into the green, I will have enough of a load that I'll be able to lift the platform. It's actually interesting because most games, it's you need enough. So now I have 3 bodies.
I need more weight to get the elevator going.
The elevator sees this as heavy enough to lift. And by doing this, we actually bypass a significant portion of the level. It doesn't mean we're helpful on the way out than it will be on the way in, but it is useful nonetheless. These... And... there we go.
We are truly fortunate to experience the passage of Envision twice in one day.
I read that Envision can't communicate with us anymore. Can they see us? Only see what's in the void.
In Witnessed by Stone, Nozaku posits that Envision can see us, but choose not to speak. They have lofty matters to ponder when they walk the void.
One day, if I'm lucky enough to hear the call and become Vision, I'll still acknowledge eyeless like us.
So you say, but they never do. Huh? I thought...
So...
What? Let's search over there then.
So, yes, in order to seek greater power, these cultists are attempting to turn themselves into those giant rock creatures. Oh, okay, let's throw down. Let's throw down then. You want to throw down? Let's do it. Fucking whoops. And their hope is that by merging with the void and becoming those creatures, they're those golems. They're called the Enlightened. That they will achieve a greater understanding of the world. This is the same. These are the same people, not like their descendants. The same exact people that used the knife of the outsider to create the god himself. So that is their purpose and their motivation, is to understand and harness the power of the void. And the outsider is but one means in which they choose to do that, to embark on that path. Although the outsider never consented to this, he was an unwilling participant in this cult.
Huh? No luck. Let's.
He had no desire to become
Could be
a
worth looking
god.
into.
He just became one. And that's why he gives people powers, because he wants this to come to an end.
Is someone asking?
You also notice that when I detected, these guys start getting glowing eyes. That's them activating their powers of the void. Similar to, well, honestly, they're similar to what we are, because the outsider kind of changed Billy Lurk by connecting her to the void in the way that the Eyeless cult desired to be connected. So she has powers as a result of that. It's kind of an interesting thing when you think about it, the way he created something like them so that he could defeat them, because just marking them with his mark was not enough. Decided to try something different, and that's actually what ended up saving him. So this area is forbidden, and we'll have to come back to it later because it is important. Now that the leaders here are dealt with, that will probably make our journey afterwards a bit easier. And getting a nice little bit of equipment is never a bad thing. You notice that Golem is gone now. It still exists. It's just we are no longer in a position where we can observe it. And you'll see what I mean in a second. Man, no one's showing up. That's kind of a bummer. Kind of a bummer. Just make sure that I boost the signal out a little bit more. Awesome. And so these cultists,
How many of the founders are still there? Are they even human anymore?
What must they know? What must they have seen? Staring across
Blood and piss!
Is someone asking for trouble?
I'm going to have a look around. What? You!
Go no farther,
You're not
stranger!
one of us!
You don't deserve the touch of the outside!
Let's see what you can do. Let's not make this too quick. Let's enjoy the moment of your demise. You've seen it. I'm with you.
Outsider!
You're hurt. Let me wipe the blood from your eyes.
wait, why couldn't I move?
You hear that?
Huh. That's weird. Something seems to be jamming my my movement. I was noticeably slower than I usually am. There are also a lot of cultists here. A lot of them. So let's see if we can cull their numbers just a bit. Oh, I see what's going on. Must be a bone charm or something that I am using.
Pays for her death.
Well, that's how you deal with a large crowd of cultists, I suppose. All these fucking bone charms, too. Holy shit. Yeah. Man, it's nice to just make use of grenades and clear out large chunks of people, and these are cultists. Oh! Hi!
City will be your
Trying to get a jump on them, and it only kinda sorta worked. There can't be that many left, can there? I killed a lot of cultists in this one spot. Oh, my king, there's probably a ton of them left over. Anyway, you just gotta keep moving towards the heart. Okay, that's dead. That's dead. Okay, they're all dead. That's good. We're good. Dead people are good. The only good cultist is a dead cultist. Alright, this is not the way. Maybe over here I'll find something. No, this is back over here. No, I'm lost. That's bad. Never good to be lost on stream. That's called dead air, and dead air is something you don't want. Wonder. Yep. That's how. And onward we climb.
You'll have to be much more specific than that.
Inside the ritual.
Where did you disappear to?
Go ahead. Finish. Finish your thoughts. It's quite alright. Alright, if you're not gonna finish your thoughts, then I'm gonna end them.
Blood and piss.
Alright, thoughts are over. Let's move on. So we have to climb. And we're going to find an interesting artifact here. This
The eye.
is the eye of a dead god.
It's watching me.
So if you look at Billy Lurk, her eye is replaced with an eye of the dead god, or at least a fragment of it. That's how she's partially how she's connected to the void, is through this artifact in her eye, and you know the other one composing of her arm. The outsider mentioned a god that existed prior to himself, and this is that god. This is the object of the Eyeless's worship, is him. Typically, they desire to obtain that level of power. The power of a god so ancient that no longer has a name. That's how they created. That's why they created the Outsider. That's why they're turning themselves into these enlightened golems. It's so that they can achieve this immortality, this unspeakable immortality. But we are going to use this artifact.
It's been a part of me since this all started. It's cold. Dead. But it still sees.
We're going to use its power for a different purpose. With the power of the eye, we can see
I can see everything.
into the void.
The void. Like looking under the waves and into the sea.
This Lovecraftian hellscape. We now see the void in all the creatures therein. And so, I don't know if it's possible to kill those golems. I think it is, but it requires an insane amount of resources. Such that it's not something that I want to actively attempt. But now that that we have merged reality and the void together, we now see all parts of it. Now we can finally peer into the location where the Outsider is kept. But before we do that, we have one stop to make first. For we need to figure out the one thing that could be used to free the Outsider from his torment. It's still locked. So who would have the key? It's gonna be dangerous to try to go hunting here. Because those golems are not easy opponents to fight. And I don't believe Semblance works on them. Let's turn the objective markers on so I don't start wandering around doing nothing for 20 minutes. Gameplay, HUD. Objective markers. Oh, really? Did it not apply the settings? No, it did. So what the hell? Alright, let's be stealthy. Because an actual direct fight with those golems will basically be our death. So I gotta find the key to that storeroom. Because that's where you'll find, quote-unquote, another way. I'm willing to bet the answer is somewhere in this room. Whew. So this is basically what the eyeless see. They see this halfway world between the void and our physical world. And it is this merging of the two in their minds that gives them their powers. Which is why they are stronger and longer lasting than the average mortal. So where is this key? Oh, you're unconscious. Let's fix that. There. Can't have any survivors, unfortunately. For you. Fortunately for me. This is water. Okay. Huh. So where is my objective marker? Okay, so that's how you want to be, then that's how you're going to be. Let's keep going then. Maybe we'll find a clue further along the path. Oh, hello. What's this? Let's take a look.
There they are. The terrible beasts. The leviathans of legend. Even our oldest writings detail sightings of these creatures in the void. Their affinity for this place is well known, but still a rarity. And here, now.
This is a new space. With a new space comes a possibility to learn some new things. This is the... Okay, we're back here. Oh, okay. Whoa, and goodbye. Oh, hello. That was a close one. Oh, what?
Face your death at the hands of us. Let's see what you can do with that shadow of an arm. Try that.
Okay. Okay. What the hell?
How long has the outsider been drowning at the heart of the void?
So... Oh, whoops. How do I get down from here? That's not going to be fun. That's how I get down from here. So let's see what's here. Here at the end, at the beginning and the end of the outsider.
He's here. I can feel it.
No, I distinctly recall having the name before I got here, so... Let's go back. And try to find out how to get that fucking key. Or how to open that door. Oh, whoops. Okay, one hit kill. Good to know. The powers of a god are apparently that strong.
He's here. I can...
So this might end up being longer than I thought, and I'll probably end up doing a lot of cutting in the final version of this. Or I could just post it raw. I'll probably just post it raw. Actually. What? They die to a single spring razor? Oh, that changes everything. What is this? Oh, this is this place. Interesting that extends out into a little bedroom with the void in effect. I wonder if hook mines will have the same effect. How I open this then. Oh, me. Oh, I see. I'm an idiot.
What is that thing? Ah, it makes my eye burn.
Maybe I'm not an idiot. Okay. Because my actual objective is in there. Oh! Okay. That hurts. It hurts a lot. Whew. No, stop it. Stop doing that. I'm just gonna look it up. Alright, no one's looking, so I can actually just take my time for a bit. Actually, maybe it is in here.
He's here. I can feel it.
Alright, so let's see if it's in here. If it's not, we'll keep looking.
Now everything is gone. I had a choice.
Yeah, okay, so back to the drawing board. So I think it looks like I need to go back to the eye to get the item I need. Man, it is always scary running around with those golems in the way. Interesting that in the void, this is just a stair. It's just a walkway. Oh shit! Keep moving. Oh, I see. There we go. That's my alternative. There we go. Now we figured it out. It didn't actually take as long as I feared it might. I'm an idiot. You go right back off. Now let's go hunting for secrets. Because this is where some really interesting facts are dropped about the Outsider and this cult. Pretty sure it's in this area. I'm just gonna let object markers get me to the finale because this is actually yeah. There we go. Now the key is open. So this. One of the eyeless members wasn't quite happy with the arrangements, like the one that they killed earlier on. Except
the mark of the Outsider.
He got close.
This one was obsessed like all the rest. What did he find out?
The topography of the void is dependent upon reality to supply the base material for it to mirror. However, there is one place that has no referent in our world. Though I know the void sees into our hearts, my fellows call it the ritual hold. Some say it is a cradle, others say a tomb. The Outsider himself resides there. To even approach the gate to that place is sacrilege. And even then, the void itself keeps it shut to living eyes. Truly, the ritual hold exists outside of time itself. It would be as futile as it is forbidden to enter. These are thoughts for another time. research into this ancient alphabet continues. Some remnants of their phonemic qualities are preserved in our oldest writings. The language possesses an unusual amount of diphthongs, reliant on distinction in tone and pitch to convey meaning. These symbols, I know the very nature of the void runs through them, but is it a dead language, or the language of the dead? Perhaps that could be the title of my next monograph.
So as you can see, each one of these symbols corresponds to a number. And that 3-digit number is the code. So it's 9, 6, and 2. And that is this code to this locker right here. I'm also learning the meaning of the script. During the flesh is those who emerge from the outsider. It is his name. Name of that he lost when he merged with the void. And if his name is returned to him, the rich formed by the years ago would be undone. Each language tantalizes me still. So...
What? The mark is the outsider's name. And this says only spirits in the void can read it.
So, in order to create the outsider identity, you have to strip the person. You have to strip the name of the person from them. And that's what the knife did. Not only did it kill the boy that became the outsider, it also physically cut, or I guess, yeah, physically cut his name away from him. So he would no longer possess it. And he would become an outsider to society. Such is the power of the knife we possess in our hands right now. And by doing that, they gave birth to a god by physically cutting his name from him, striking him from the annals of history forever. So in order to bring the outsider back, or to end his plight, what you must do is give him his name.
How long has the outsider been drowning at the heart of the void?
His name, which happens to be emblazoned upon the flesh of every single person who has been marked by him.
He's here. I can feel it.
But it can only be read by someone who exists inside the void. A living being cannot read the script. That researcher knew that. He also knew that bringing him his name would be the end of the outsider. Yet still, he was compelled by some unshakable desire for knowledge just to solve the riddle of his name, even though he knew it could end everything the cult stood for. And in doing so, it gave us an opening that we can use to take care of the outsider once and for all. And I'm going to go for this ending because there are two ways you can end this. One, by just killing the outsider flat out with the knife. And second, by doing this method, which we will do.
Now everything is gone. The void is stripping it away.
Dowd? Why are you here? What are you?
Look at us. Trapped here. An eternity on a butcher's block. Waiting for the knife to fall. There's nothing left of me but this.
Dowd. I'm here. Look at me.
I know that name. I know you. There was blood.
tusks and blades raised. Billy Lurk, I even remember when you hated me. And now you followed me into the void itself. You brought the knife. I can't hurt him. There's nothing I can do. Only you can kill him. How long have I waited here?
Too long, old man.
There he is. The outsider. All this time dreaming in the void. I wonder if he dreamed about this moment. Go finish it. End his miserable life.
He almost looks like he's in pain. Is this really what you want? Is this really what he deserves?
You know how this ends, Billy.
I found another way. The outsider lived and breathed once. He spent his days on the streets of some forgotten city. These cultists took everything away from him. Even his name. But I know what it is. His name is the Mark. Only the dead can read it. If we give that back to him, he'll be free. He'll live out the rest of his days as a man like any other.
The Mark? No. You're here to kill him. You can't ask me to do this, Billy. Not after everyone he's hurt. Not after everything we've done.
So I mentioned earlier that this DLC asks a question of who is to blame for what Dowd and Billy Lurk did. Is it Dowd and Billy Lurk themselves as the people who performed that action, or the outsider gave them the power to do so, knowing that's something that they could do? And how you come down on this basically affects what your final choice in the DLC is overall. And because I think it's a natural end point to the character, I think I will side with the idea that both sides are equally to blame. Dowd made those choices himself, but the outsider should have known better than to give someone with the potential that power. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have Billy Lurk say, well, you didn't get punished for what you did. Why should he get punished? Because ultimately they are genuinely trying to make up for what they did. Both Dowd and Billy Lurk and the outsider, all of them are to some extent victims of circumstance. Because the outsider was chosen against his will to have the powers of a god, and Dowd was chosen against his will to have the powers of the outsider. The outsider gave him. And so we're going to attempt to convince Dowd to give the outsider a chance, a second chance that he received from Corvo.
Why is he to blame for what we did? He gave us a way to fight back. He never lied to us about what we might become.
You know what I became. We looked down on Dunwall as if we owned it. As if we could drown it in blood. Wow. He knew we'd turn into monsters like him. He always knew. And his Billy, he can't do anything but harm.
I saw the cult who hurt him. He died once at their hands. Look at him. This wasn't his choice. He never asked for this power.
Then end it. Put him out of his misery if you pity him. It's a better future than anything that might wait for him out there.
But does he have to die? Years ago, I did something terrible to you. I didn't deserve to live. But you let me walk away. You gave me a chance. Let him live, Dowd. Let him have the life he lost. Like you did for me.
When you left Dunwall, I hoped hoped you could live a better life without me. That your future wouldn't be killing for coin until someone came to betray you. Forgiveness is a rare thing in this world, Billy. You're better than I was.
This is the outsider.
Farewell, Billy. For the last time.
I can taste blood in my mouth. I can hear Doubt's voice.
I like the moment where you see the eyes become real human eyes. It's a really powerful visual.
Impossible.
We let you live. I can take you out of here.
These eyes were closed for centuries. And I saw everything. Bound here, I walked through the minds of generations. And now,
You're free.
And that is how we killed a god. By restoring the man beneath the god.
I can't take back what was done to you all those years ago. No more than I can take back what was done to me. But now you have a chance to be something new. To be something better. It must be strange knowing what you know. Seeing with old eyes all the secrets of the world. We've both seen the worst in people's hearts. But in the end, I gave Doubt peace. And maybe you can find some too. There's so much doubt. But there are some things I know are true. The outsider is no more. And with that, the world will change in ways none of us can know. But the void is still there, echoing just beyond what you can see. And there's no one left to say who will and won't be touched by its magic.
So the way this game ends basically precludes the possibility of the outsider giving anyone else power. You'd seem you joined just at the end of the stream, Kelly, unfortunately. We chose to spare the outsider's life. We chose to redeem the god and turn him back into a man. Either way, no matter which choice you make, there is no more outsider in the world. The god is dead. We chose to kill the outsider but spare the man. Yet, because Billy's powers come from the void directly, through the eye of the dead god, and not through the outsider himself, that still does open up the possibility of another person becoming an empowered individual like Billy Lurk is. And thus possibility for more Dishonored coming out, because Dishonored kind of... The premise is that the person you play has powers. Although it seems unlikely at this point we're going to see a sequel anytime soon, because they've admitted flat out that this franchise is going to be put on hold for at least a short time. Possibly longer than that. I would definitely love to see more Dishonored, because it seemed like, at least here at Death the Outsider, they really started getting the real strength of the formula down, and kind of cutting the chaff. In ways that I didn't expect. Yeah, live services. I remember that story. That sucks. Um, but this series, if this is how it ends, it does end on a very high note. So I can't actually be too bummed out about that, in all honesty. This is probably even though it's short, only 5 missions long, it's probably one of the strongest games in the series. If not the strongest game in the series. Because of how wide open it becomes, how much more you can do with the toolkit than you can in previous games. How much more interesting the mission structure is because you don't have the... Like, missions don't have to end in an assassination, which gives them much more leeway to do interesting things with it. Like, the bank heist would not be possible in a previous Dishonored because you'd have to find some way to get a target in there. Like, the bank heist actually is a great example of probably one of the best missions in the entire franchise, next to Clock Mansion Crack in the Slab. If not above those, if I'm being perfectly honest. Like, a good old-fashioned thief-style bank heist will always be an impressive mission, at least to me. So just decoupling, like in many ways, this decouples Dishonored from the two core tenets that the previous game series have established, which are that your actions have consequences through chaos, and that you are an assassin. In many ways, this DLC decouples that, because even though Billy Lurk is still technically an assassin by trade, she doesn't have to actually make a single kill. Not even like in the bullshit non-lethal takedown variant. She can just ignore the big players and just focus on her objectives if she wants. And the game allows for you to do that. So it's interesting that here in the final Dishonored game, they figured, you know, this is a DLC, or this was going to be a DLC, we made it standalone later. Let's just have at it. Let's just see if some of our core tenets for this franchise just don't work by removing them. And the result was probably an incredible game with a solid, with honestly not a bad story per Dishonored standards. Like it's probably one of the better ones in this franchise because Billy Lurk and Dowd are by far some of the more interesting characters in the series compared to Corvo and Emily. And Rosario Dawson does a pretty good performance as Billy Lurk. It's a solid game. But I think, yeah, that's a good way. That's a good way of putting it, Kelly. A little blunt, but not wrong. Where the final result is, holy shit, I'm having fun because now I'm not getting nagged by the game for interacting with its toolkit, or for utilizing its toolkit, which I still to this day feel mixed opinions about that, because on one hand, I do, like we said when Gwen was on the call during Dishonored 2, that one episode, I do enjoy the idea of the game developer saying, hey, killing people is bad, you shouldn't do that, but we're going to give you tools that would make you a murder machine, but it's up to you and your conscience to make sure you don't use them. I kind of appreciate that in a way. Even if it's ham-fisted, it doesn't really work in this context. I like the idea behind that. But there is no denying that Death of the Outsider is a better game. And moment to moment, there is a lot more fun to be had in Death of the Outsider than in previous Dishonored games. And I say that as someone who loves every game in this franchise, from the first game to this one. it's a good game. It's just you have so many fewer restrictions going in on both the design and a gameplay standpoint that you get so much of what makes the interactive sim genre work, which is dealing with your screw-ups. Like, a perfect run of a Dishonored level was probably the least interesting one, if I'm being totally honest. What makes games like this fun is in screwing up and figuring out how to deal with the fact that you screwed up. And that is possible in the older ones, as you saw with the improvisation runs that we've done up until now. But there's always this nagging thing in the back of your head where, oh, I killed him, I'm going to be worse off because of that. Because of the chaos system. Even though you didn't go out planning to kill the guard. It just happened because that's the only way you could think of at that point to escape. But in this game, when you're free of that, you get those little screw-ups and the ability to play around with the fact that you did screw up. You get to figure out how to get out of the mess you made. You get that a lot more frequently, and as a result, the actual moment-to-moment gameplay is so much more interesting. Plus, you also have all these tools like the spring razor and the grenades that in previous games you're disincentivized from using. And you can utilize them in creative ways that would be frowned upon in previous games. It's incredible how just a couple of small adjustments, while leaving the rest of the formula relatively intact, resulted in the best game in the series, even if it's the shortest game in the series. But before we wrap up, I want to talk just a little about the mode that you unlock when you beat the game. And if I'm right, this is the correct campaign to do that in. I'm not going to finish the level, I'm just going to talk about original game plus mode. Because, for those of you who aren't aware... Okay, this is original game plus. If you beat the game, you unlock a variant called Original Game Plus. That is otherwise the same, except where I have Displace in the main game, I have good old classic Blink. Where I have Foresight, I have good old-fashioned Dark Vision. And where I had Semblance, I have Domino from Dishonored 2, where I can link people together. And so you can play the whole game with these powers upgraded to max. But it's actually kind of lame, if I'm being honest. Like, having the blink, like the Dowd blink, is cool. Having these powers are cool. But, when I was told that you could play this game with powers from the original game, I assumed that meant you could choose the powers you use, like from the list of all of them. But it's hard-coded to these three, which was honestly disappointing to me when I heard it. But it is admittedly kind of cool is to play through the games with these original powers intact. I'm not going to play through very much because this game is already basically over. Yeah, Kelly, that reaction you just had where, oh, you can't choose lame, I had the exact same reaction almost verbatim when I found out. Because, well, Blink, Dark Vision, and Domino are like a good solid power set, compared to what you get in the actual game, like the Displace, Semblance, and Foresight, these are fucking lame. These power sets are just not as good, flat out, as the power sets you have in the base run. And while it's nice that you can play with the old powers, like, it just kind of highlights more. Like, this mode highlights how cool the powers you have in the base version of the run are. Because if I could choose, I would still probably pick Blink and Domino, but I would not have Dark Vision. I would have a different third. I'm not sure what I would have. Like, maybe Possession, or like Shadow Form or something like that. But I would flat out not have Dark Vision. I don't have there's no use for it. It's kind of a worthless power. Dark Vision has always kind of served as this power that's like situationally kind of nice, but never so important to have that I'd want it over other powers. Like, it's always been this kind of lame, like, redheaded stepchild of the Dishonored power set. And I would never willingly choose to have it in my arsenal if I could. That said, this is a cool mode. Cool idea. Just kind of lame compared to what they could have done. And that is all I will have to say about Death of the Outsider. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the remaining 40 minutes of this stream. It's also kind of sucks that people started joining in after I had finished the game. So I guess you guys might be watching the highlights. But this was fun. It was fun to kind of go through the Dishonored games from start to finish on stream like this. I love this series, and it's one of my favorite series of the PSP PS4 generation. Yeah. I don't blame anyone for coming in this late, because you know, you guys have lives, and you're not beholden to my schedule. But we did already kind of finish the game, so I don't know if there's anything more I can show off about Dishonored on stream that I haven't already gone over. I mean, I still have Dishonored 2. I could probably talk about New Game Plus for a bit. Assuming... Well, no, I can't, because I had to cut the stream and then reload it. Actually, maybe that's not a bad idea. To do like the start of a New Game Plus. But then we had to wait till we get powers to really show off the cool thing that makes New Game Plus what it is. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's spend 40 minutes talking about New Game Plus. I'm going to have to reset the stream for a bit, though, so if you give me a few minutes, I will be right back.